Hi, it's Christine with Moonshine Safari and...
Moonshine Safari.
Woohoo!
Yeehaw.
We are up to Blood of My Blood episode 4. I am not necessarily getting these out on schedule, but I also like to know kind of where the show's going because I like to compare it with the books a little bit of what we know about the books. So that's me. As a reminder, we have spoilers for both the books and the shows and all the things. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you shouldn't listen, but you do want to be spoiled, so you should listen.
Get spoiled.
Get spoiled. So we are opening with a woman hauling milk. It's actually Julia. Julia spills it. And Davina's a little annoyed, and she said it's because she didn't give thanks for the milk or the goats, or there's like all kinds of Scottish lore superstitions in there. And so she said the fairy folks will get mad because she didn't give thanks the way she was supposed to. So it's interesting that they like to throw in a smattering of that kind of stuff. Lord Lovett is coming back, and Davina's annoyed with Julia. She said to go make an offering to the fairy folks at the meantime for the milk, or else they're going to stay mad at her and she's still going to have bad things happen. So right now we flash back to the pregnancy that she had with Claire, because we know that she had Claire before they fell through the stones, and Claire is in the present, whatever that present is, 1919, something like that. Okay, so Claire's back there. We flash back to the pregnancy, and they're talking about Peter for a boy's name. Julia wants to go to college, and she's a writer, and so she's kind of, for the time, a little bit more ambitious than women might normally be at that time. You might think back in the day, women just wanted to get married, have babies, whatever. Julia wants to do things, and she's like interested Claire. In biology. She's like Claire, right? And like the actress, like I said, actually favors. They did a good job in casting. They just really did. So they favor each other, in my opinion. She's not
near as annoying as Claire.
She's very pretty. I think she's pretty, but it's interesting. She looks better in my mind with dark hair, but that's just me. Okay. So anyway, she knows Lord Lovett is coming back, and she has offered herself to him already, and she doesn't want to keep doing it. So she rubs her skin all over with weed, essentially to make herself break out on purpose so that he won't want to be around her, because she's looking kind of hidey. Right. I mean, it doesn't look good. Then now we're flashing over to Henry. Henry has been introduced to this madam, a brothel owner, who said he's going to help him find Julia. Okay, so this woman is supposed to help him find Julia, but they're not really helping him find Julia. They don't know where Julia is, so they're just introducing him to these other women. Like, they introduce him to this prostitute and go, "Hey, this is her," and he's like, no, not her. That's not who I'm looking for. And they're not interchangeable to him. He really wants to find Julia, and so he gets really frustrated. But he does spend time with the prostitute just because he misses like talking to people, but he doesn't take it any further than that. At least not at that point. Remember, I said there are spoilers. So Lord Lovett is angry because he said the Grants are now allies to the Mackenzies, and that's on virtue of the fact that Ellen has been promised to Malcolm Grant, and he doesn't like it. And he feels like the Grants are supposed to be his allies, and he thinks that Ellen could present a moral problem for them, that there are rumors that she's been with somebody, and he wants it to not be considered a suitable match because Ellen would be damaged goods.
Rumors are true.
Well, could be. I don't think they're true yet, but they're about to be. They're fixing to be. So Julia's rash scares Lord Lovett as expected, and he wants her to go get sort of cured. To that effect, they go out to a town to try to get her some medicine. She said it happens every so often. It's kind of funny, actually. So now we go back to Ellen, and Colum is there, and he wants Ellen to go with Malcolm Grant to this festival. And she's still trying to play the brothers against each other, and she actually does a pretty good job at it. There's fairly easy marks for her in that way. And she says she won't marry Malcolm, but Colum says that the last time someone tried to get out of it, they got killed, especially once the arrangements had already been made. And so he's like, wouldn't do it if I was you. You could actually, get killed for it. Don't do it. So, and the Mackenzies need the money, and they want the Grants to back them, and they want basically Grant money backing them up. Okay. So also, just as a reminder, part of the Grants is Archbug, which plays out way in the future, but it is important, and he features pretty heavily in the Blood of My Blood stuff. So I find that interesting. Duel tells her to get in line and quit complaining, and Henry is going out to collect the rents. So basically, the Grant Laird wants an increase in his rents, and he he wants a certain amount more per tenant than he was getting before. And Henry's like, that's going to be hard to make that happen. So he's ordered to go out and collect these rents, and he's also ordered to take Archbug with him, which never makes Henry happy because Archbug is a little scary. I mean, he's scary later, he's scary now, okay? And now we flash back to Brian. Brian is taking Julia to the apothecary to help her allergy, and he looks at her funny. He knows that there's something funny about the rash. He's not buying it. He kind of, he knows his dad's creepy, so he's not really surprised. And so she kind of admits to him that that's what she's doing. She's trying to, she doesn't say it in so many words, but it's clear that yes, she is trying to stay away from Lord Levitt. Okay, so then we flash. See, this is always like a tennis match. Every time we're doing this, they flash between Henry and Julia's camp. So now we're back to Henry. Henry's out collecting the rents, and there are people that don't have the cash to pay for the rent, but they want to trade. And Mr. Grant has said, "I don't want trades. I want money. That's what I want." The guy's kind of a hard nose as far as that stuff goes. So he says he wants the cash, but somebody comes up and they said, "Look, we don't have any money. I can give you this honey in trade for my rent, but I don't have any money." So Henry actually comes up with kind of this cool idea to sell raffle tickets in order to give people the opportunity to pay more than they would normally pay, but it would give them a chance. It's essentially a lottery. It would give them a chance to take a year off of their taxes, which is a big deal. So he actually ends up collecting as much as he would have if he would have increased the rents across the board. But even then, they're not real happy with him. But it's really hard to get super mad at him when he got the money that they were supposed to get.
He still wasn't happy about it because now he's like, now somebody gets to go without
a whole year. I know, but it's like, cool. But you still got the money anyway.
It's also about control.
It is about control. I think that's probably more what it's about. They don't ever want anyone to think that they look weak, maybe, or so Arch kind of gets mad at Henry, and they kind of start to scuffle a little bit, and then Henry just freaks out because his PTSD will flare up every so often, and it's really bad. Like, it's crippling for him, and he just shuts down when it happens. And so Arch doesn't really have any sympathy that carries through the whole series. Arch never has any sympathy for anybody. The only person Arch ever really cares about is his wife. And that's, like I said, that's a big plot point. That's a big spoiler. So Julia and Brian are getting along. So Brian actually tells Julia, "Look, now that I know a little bit of your secret, I want you to do me a favor. Let's trade secrets." He wants Julia to go into Castle Leoch and give Ellen a message for him. And so Julia is trying to get Ellen to come out to meet Brian. And Ellen's afraid, but Julia convinces her to go, and she tells, they have a kind of a code word thing so that she knows that Brian really did send her. And she goes on out to meet him. They make plans to meet at that same festival that she is supposed to go meet Malcolm Grant at. Ellen decides to play like she's fine with the wedding. So that's actually a smart move. She tries to act like it's good. She's going to marry Malcolm Grant. Everything's good. And she's trying to throw everyone off the scent. All of a sudden, now we are flipping back again to Julia. When Julia's... So at the same time, while this is happening and they're getting ready to go to this festival and all that, Julia's pregnancy is revealed. Julia convinces Lord Levitt that this is actually his child. It doesn't make sense timing-wise. The Davina Porter knows that's not possible, that is Lord Levitt's child. She even tells him that. He wants it to be his child, so he basically tells her, "Shut up, woman, I don't want to hear this anymore. This is my child, and by the way, I'm also going to marry Julia." All of this is really important in how this is all going to play out. I had my theories when this all started about the baby that Julia was carrying being Claire's sister Faith, maybe even. Doesn't appear that that's going to happen, so that's a spoiler alert, but we'll see. It's definitely not going the way I had anticipated it going, which is good, because obviously that means it wasn't too cliche to me.
If it doesn't happen, is it a spoiler?
Well, I guess if I say that didn't happen, right, it's only a spoiler in that here's one of the possibilities that didn't check off. It's not really a spoiler. That's true.
If it's true, then that would be a spoiler.
It wasn't true. So you're right, it wasn't a spoiler. It was not a spoiler. We just have other ones. Anyway, it's interesting. Like I said, it is throwing me off. I'm not quite sure where it's going. Again, I'm back to the fact that I like most of the casting. In fact, I can't think of anybody I don't like as far as the casting goes. So next time for Blood of My Blood, we'll be looking at episode 5, and also our next actual episode will be chapter 23 of the Outlander books. And just a reminder, please check out MoonshineSafari.com for our previous episodes and for other things that we have going on. We have some cool cryptid stuff. Thanks again for listening, and let us know if we're missing anything. See ya!